Yeah.
Here.
Danell.
Here.
And Joe. John Brush.
Here.
Nelson.
Here.
Armando.
Present.
Robbins.
Here.
Okay, thank you.
Rob, would you please read our mission and vision statement, please, for the benefit of the group?
The Northwest Regional Airport Authority strives to be a major driver of economic growth in northern Michigan by providing world-class service to build prosperity. The Cherry Capital Airport is to be the airport of choice for all residents and visitors of Northwest Michigan.
Thank you very much. A review and approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda? Got a motion. It's been supported. Is there discussion for or against the motion? All those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Public comment on items on the agenda. Would anyone in the audience like to address any of the items and make comment on any of the items on our agenda? There also, at the end of the meeting, is time for public comment on anything pertaining to the airport, anything not on the agenda. You're always welcome to share your comments. At this point, are there any public comments on any items on our agenda this morning? Okay, there being none, we will have the reading and approving of the previous minutes. Our first set of minutes are the minutes from the annual meeting of January 27th, 2026.
Move to approve as presented.
We've got a motion by Steve,
Spartan.
then supported by Dan. John Koff, is there discussion for or against the motion? There being no further discussion, all those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Then we have meeting minutes of the regular meeting of January 27th.
And that includes the appeal decision that will require the signature of the chair and the secretary.
Okay. We have a motion to accept those minutes. And that does include the appeal decision, Kevin?
So moved.
It's been moved. We have support. Supported. Is there discussion? There being no discussion, all those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Then we have the meeting minutes of the closed session meeting of January 27th, 2026 as well. I'll need a motion to approve those.
So moved.
Support.
The motion has been supported. Is there
Question
discussion?
on
Rick?
that. We need to make some adjustments here. You got Jim O'Rourke and Wayne Schmidt.
Present.
We will correct that. We'll
Good eye.
Thank you for correcting that, Rick. It's pretty important. Catch there. Are there any other?
Yeah, and Daryl Nelson was absent.
Yep.
We'll get those corrected. Those
I'm not listed on there, so it's the whole thing.
are no correct audit, no corrected attendance.
Are there any further changes, corrections, comments? All those in favor with the corrections will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Next, we have items from our consent calendar. This is an item that we have for the board. It's typically non-controversial items that are dealt with on the emotion, by the authority without discussion. Any member of the authority, staff, or public may ask that items be removed and placed elsewhere on the agenda for more discussion. Such requests will be automatically respected. Any of the items not removed from the consent calendar, the action noted is approved by a single authority action adopting the consent calendar. We do only have one item on there. That's the meeting minutes of the Cherry Capital Airport Zoning Commission meeting of January 28th.
Move to approve as presented.
Got a motion by Steve to approve as presented.
Support.
Motion's been supported. Is there any further discussion? There being no further discussion, all those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Item G, reading of communications. Everyone has, in their packet, received committee assignments. These were committee assignments I made in conjunction with Kevin to assure that everyone on the authority was assigned to a committee, and those do not require approval, correct, Kevin?
No, they're your assignments, but I can say that everybody wanted to be on buildings and grounds this time around. I don't know why, but everybody did.
Okay, so we couldn't put everyone on building and grounds, so we moved those around.
Yeah, we did, and we basically kept the buildings and grounds.
I didn't make that request. I wanted to stay in the exciting world of HR.
There you go.
Okay. Next, reports of standing committees, we have none. Reports of special committees, none. Unfinished business, we have Resolution 2026-13 to enact the ordinance approving the editing and inclusion of certain ordinances as part of the Northwest Regional Airport Authority codified rules, regulations, and ordinances. The approval of this resolution, Carrie then will approve all of the changes, the readings, they will be enacted with,
Well-
if this resolution is adopted.
Yes,
correct?
all of the changes have already been approved. This resolution is really simply just to put it in the book and to authorize us to update our ordinance book that you find online
Okay,
and put them in.
okay.
I'll make the motion to do so.
Is this a roll call, Kevin?
Support.
Got a motion, it's been supported. Is there any discussion for or against the motion? There being no further discussion, all those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Okay, new business, we have resolution 2026-14 to approve the lease agreement with Collins Aerospace for ACAR's communication cabinet.
Okay, so the ACARS communication cabinet was installed in 2004 when the terminal opened. The ACARS is how the airlines communicate with their ground station here. It was normally stored in, well, what then was the Northwest Airlines storage cabinet, but in the cages, if you remember your tour, the cages in the back. But it needs to be moved as we do the remodel for the terminal. And so at that time, Bob has reached out to talk to him about moving that and then getting it under a lease, because it's no longer going to be under a kind of a sublease agreement with the airline. So Bob has done that. He reached out, got in contact with ACARS. The material and labor to move it is roughly $7,000, and then with the lease and the payback, it's about 4 years. And it's also subject to be allowed as part of the project. So, so I look for the board support.
So moved.
Got a motion by Daryl, supported by Rob. Is there further discussion or against the motion? There being no further discussion, all those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Next, we have resolution 2026-15 to award passenger facility charge consulting to Rocondo and Associates.
So we've had a long-term relationship with Primary Airport Service that you might even remember the name Dennis Jopi. Dennis can take us back to the 1990s when the PFCs were originally announced to be able to be collected by airports. Dennis passed away, his son took over to carry the business for a while and then eventually closed the business. So in that time, then we reached out to Mead & Hunt to provide temporary consulting services for them. And this is passenger facility charges. So that's the $4.50. That's on every ticket that for the plane that's going on. So when we did that, that got us through. So we've closed out a couple of applications, and then now we know we're going to need a new application for this terminal, the addition and new projects coming up. So with that, that's a point in time where the FAA indicates we need to go out for requests for proposals and qualifications. Requests for qualifications. And we did that. We went out in the month of January, and we contacted all Michigan Airport Consultants. We posted online and we received one proposal. That proposal was from Recondo and Associates. If you're familiar, Recondo's doing all our financial planning for the terminal now. But part of that, as reviewing their submittal, Recondo will be using Mead and Hunt as a sub-consultant. So that was kind of our expectation, that we'd see Recondo and Mead and Hunt, but they chose to team up. So we got one proposal. With that, we're very comfortable with both firms in that regard. And so in this process, since it's an RFQ process, what we're looking for approval is for us then to continue the approval to go forward and negotiate a contract for future services based on price at that time.
Question, Mr. Chair.
Yep.
Regarding that there's only been one proposal, one reply, or they combined, do you have any concerns about that? Are there industry standard fees you guys can base your work on? So,
Yes, we'll base them off of current fees that we're seeing, and then we'll also compare it to others. But we've reached out to FAA regarding this RFQ process, letting them know what we've seen and what we've received. And this is not atypical of what's going on in the industry. You get one bid on PFC, you know. If we were a large hub airport, they may have 5 or being our size instead.
the fact that you can track industry standard pricing is
Correct.
fine, so thank you.
In fact, that this is so tied to the terminal and both of their fairly intimate knowledge of the terminal, it's actually to our benefit, not to try and bring somebody else completely up to speed
Take them
on
longer,
the existing
yeah.
program.
It's good.
Any other questions? Accept a motion, please, to approve that.
I'll make that motion.
We got a motion by Darrell,
26:15.
supported by Dan. Is there further discussion for or against the motion? There being no further discussion, all those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Next, we have a resolution 2026-16 to approve the Second Amendment to Security Officer Services contract with Police Security Group for unarmed guards at the Cherry Capital.
Okay, so with the change to police officers, TSA required that the police officers are the only ones that carry a service arm, service weapon. And so what we were doing at the armed guard is when police officers went home, the armed guard was here, there was some overlap, and TSA does not, per the regulation, they actually have it written in the regulation that there will be not a firearm carried by someone else. So with that, we're making the change to go from an unarmed or armed service to an unarmed service in the overnight hours, so that the terminal building has coverage by a security officer all during that time. We are working with the TSA to get that changed, but that is a legislative change or security directive change that would have to take place. So that's not going to happen overnight, and that could coincide with us having police officers 24 hours. So in the meantime, what this is to meet the regulatory requirement to not have an armed officer, 2 different groups of armed officers at the facility. To have one, we're changing the elite security group to an unarmed officer. Rates remain the same as we had previously approved.
Do they carry a taser or anything else? No weapon whatsoever. Okay, thank you.
I move to approve resolution 2026-16 as presented.
Got a motion to approve resolution 2020-16. Support? Support? It's been supported by Rick. Is there further discussion for or against the motion? All those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Resolution 2026-17 to award TVC PFAS removal action construction contract to Elmer's Crane and Dozer.
Okay, I'm gonna turn this over to Bob, but we did go out for bids and we talked about this. This is a grant from the state of Michigan through Eagle to do this work. So this is a contract that we used Gosling Zubek to help design and manage the construction work and then help us with bid services.
Yep. So like Kevin said, this will be Eagle grant work. We've got that Eagle grant in process for signatures. The goal at this point, we've got some testing in place to, I would say, refine the actual depths within this kind of polygon area right here. And once we do that, we'll be able to engage Elmer Screening Dozer here, hopefully mid-March. The idea being that we can get the work associated with the future terminal development area out of the way, let them finish up that work, but essentially have clean fill soils in the proximity of the terminal addition, and then complete the rest of that work that is being disposed of in coordination with Eagle. We have direct costs in the landfill that will be, again, part of the grant for this work. So part of our continued efforts to help clean up the airport from PFAS.
Was this from the old runway, or was this a testing area, or?
That's what it's showing. We believe that there was firefighting testing that occurred off the end of the runway. And that's where that, and again, that's our best guess. I'm not saying
It's,
that's.
you know, you're going back in history
Yeah.
before most of us were born. So, I just want to point out, so the bid for Elmer's Crane and Dozer is $128,940, and then you have the disposal fee, and we say approximately at $402,690. So we're under what we informed Eagle of. But when we look at the motion, there is a difference in what we're using. The estimate to make the 402 was based off of $35 a ton of material to be paid directly to the landfill. So if there's some more or less, it's all based on that difference. So I just want to make sure that is explained, that difference. So we say approximately based on that. If there's something that is, over our estimate of this area, that's completely, then it's something that would have to come back to the board for approval. But if it's in that ballpark, we're,
Yeah, and our hope is it is, and then if there is, I'll say, funding left over, our intent would be to engage Eagle to see if they will allow us pursue additional areas, but we want to kind of make sure the first area is squared away, but then we can evaluate future areas and work with Elmer's on getting costs for that as well. So.
Good work on getting that 100% funded that way. That's
Yep.
great. Now, there's asphalt in that area that will be dug up and then replaced? How is
No asphalt in the area. If you look in the polygon area, right now it's pretty much
it's that. I'm sorry, I was in the wrong area.
that grassy area. Yeah, sorry. This is that old runway orientation. That's what that's
Okay.
kind of showing.
Yeah.
So this area in here, there's maybe a little bit of gravel in here, but for the most part, it's just grass and gravel.
Gotcha, thanks.
Question, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
So they remove the existing contaminated soil and they bring in clean soil, regrade, top dress, seed?
So on the plus side, they won't need to seed because we're gonna come in right away and start digging the area up for the foundations of the terminal addition. So, but it is, we did have to silo the work in such a way that whatever we removed, we put back in with clean fill, it's compacted. It's kind of like it was before because, Eagle didn't want to have any part of our project and vice versa. So.
Do we have an idea how deep they're gonna need to go? Has that been?
So anywhere from 3 to roughly 8 to 10, it's where the water table is, and it kind of varies in that area, but potentially as low as 8 to 10 feet. Yep. But nothing into the water table.
Borings they did ahead of time is what tells them how far to
Yep,
go?
we did
Is that
about, I want to say we did about half a dozen, and then they just got done, so the rest of those dots on there, so I think there's about another 10 or so that were just recently completed to further refine that excavation area and depth.
They're not testing soil as they're digging, they're using those marks, or do they do both?
Both, so yeah, we're basically, most recently, what we did is we actually were testing by depth. So we'll have those results here, hopefully the second week of March, and that's what we'll use to refine the scope of work for Elmer's initiative.
Okay, and then as they're digging, this is probably more granular, I really need to know, but as they dig then, do they then bore again and see like, is there something else, or do they test soil they're digging out?
No, right now, I think we've got a pretty good idea of where the endpoints are for what we're trying to accomplish. It's just, hopefully those depths will give us a better understanding of how deep we need to go. But yeah, I don't know if that helps answer your question, but
It's more
we're going to go
curiosity.
any deeper because of the water table.
Right,
if
yeah.
that makes sense, yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Need a motion for the resolution?
Yes.
2026-17, I'll make that motion.
Got a motion. Support that? Motion's been supported. Is there discussion for or against the motion? All those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Item 5, Resolution 2026-18, Police Defense and Indemnity Policy, indemnification, excuse me.
So with forming the police department, we have a policy with our insurance company on actions that a police officer might take as in the line of duty, whether it's discharging a firearm or using force. And so, of course, we have a liability insurance for that. And after review and meeting with the chief, meeting with Carrie and as the attorney, we determined that it would be beneficial to have, not only do we have a policy, but also to adopt our own policy and procedure to how to enforce that policy and utilize it. So you see a lot of that done in contracts, whether it's contracts directly with the officers or contracts with the union. So we are recommending, as outlined by our attorney, the policy to have on hand to follow our insurance policies guidelines. Here. The policy for the policy, how about it?
Policy for the
Sounds like
policy.
it's Saturday Night Lights.
Yeah, I know.
And I just did notice that the little typo on this.
What's the typo?
And the,
And the heading,
Are there any questions of?
Oh, yeah.
I'll make the motion to accept 26-18 with the aforementioned typo that I don't see, because I'm sure it's there, but heading it quick.
Got a motion to approve the resolution.
Support.
Motion is supported. Is there discussion or questions here? There being no further discussion, all those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Okay, reports of Chief Executive Kevin. Activities report, please.
right. Travis Connect Executive Committee met. I'm vice chair of that committee now, so I'll be attending a few more of those meetings, which is the normal work. So we met. Conference call with Eagle on the scope of work for this grant. So one of the things we're probably pushing Eagle to fast track a little bit because of our terminal project to get this done. So we're pushing the grant to be here for approval and then pushing the scope of work definition so we can get everything outlined and bid. So we were able to do that. Cherry Festival meeting with Steve and Rob were both there. We had a discussion on going forward with potential nighttime show and then future some good faith efforts for negotiation agreement. So we're waiting to schedule another or offer any comments. We may have none.
No, we need to meet again. We've offered some dates that didn't work for them, so we're waiting to hear.
Yeah, it was just combined traffic
Yeah.
of people involved.
Schedule, life gets in the way sometimes.
So we'll keep working on that. We had the Gates to the Future bid opening, so Chrisman our CMAR took bids on that, so they're under the review process. That process will hopefully conclude here this week. And then once that is concluded, we'll bring that to Buildings and Grounds. I know Ron is working on that, probably with Doug, to try to get those dates coordinated. And so once then, we'll have Buildings and Grounds, but then have a recommendation that will be brought to the full board on the March 17th meeting.
I'll
So,
be traveling all that week, so I won't be here
So-
the week of the 17th.
No, but I think we're kind of looking at March 10th, so for
Yes.
those on B&G, throw that out there.
so Ron, before you run away today, make sure you see Ron to coordinate on B&G to make sure we do that. All right, Delta Airline, Autumn and I flew down to visit with Delta. Coming out of that, of course, you heard the news that Delta added additional Boston service. So that was a great visit. So very happy to go down and visit. We did learn that some of their new management team in network planning has ties to the West Branch area. So hopefully we get a chance to, when they come up on family vacation, to get them to visit here directly. We held the Traverse City Business News Recess. Paul, you were there.
That was very nice.
Yeah, it was great. So, fun night. I presented at the Suttons Bay Rotary on the 5th. Mark attended a finance conference, administration, with the American Association of Airport Executives. And then also I wanted to log in there. We had several board members attend the airport board training. I think Rick Robbins did, Rob Nell, Dan, and Will, correct? So also attended that. So anything you'd like to share?
I thought it was informative. I enjoyed it. She knew what she was talking about.
Good. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate that. That's been beneficial. I had a meeting with Carol Gakwa. I'm mispronouncing that, I'm sure. And I put the note that she shared with me and walked through some of the things that she had some concerns about. So that's in front of you, so you can have it for your file. That's why you see the change here specifically to the table. Her issue was one with the podium being off to the side and out of the way. So we did that during COVID, if you remember. And so we're bringing that back to kind of meet that request. There are other requests, and I'm sure our chair will be addressing one of them on our member comments. And there are some other requests with filming that we've talked about. So you have that for your file. We met with the state of Michigan and the Police Officers Association of Michigan and Teamsters. The group is potentially looking at the union for the police officers. So working with the state of Michigan, there will be elections and that kind of stuff that goes forward. So we'll see you through that through March. New member board orientation for Rick Robbins. How did that go?
It was great.
So, DGN was on site to begin our annual audit work. So they came in for a day. I don't know if you want to share, Heather.
So they just came in for a day, did some additional testing, so far so good, and then they'll be back April 13th for a week.
And then we had the Michigan Association of Airport Executives Spring Conference in Lansing. I was at the conference little. I was on the Capitol a lot. So I had lots of meetings with Rep. Coville, Rep. Steele, Rep. Bolin, Rep. Hoffman, Rep. Fairbairn, Cavallari, Senator Bumstead, Senator Kleinfeld, Rep. Roth, Rep. Wharton, and Senator News. And so successful, but we're competing against other projects with the legislative spending request. And so really working at the Northern Michigan caucus, so to speak, really fights for this as one of their #1 projects. And it seemed very well received to be done in that fashion. So we'll keep working on it and see where we go. So yeah, it was good several days. The conference was good. The transportation group, both senators and our representatives, had a panel at the conference, so we got to see the transportation group working together. The big focus, it seems like, on Lansing is everything's focused on economic development. Projects that can improve economic development and lower the cost of operation or living in Michigan. That's the focus.
And I know that, we all know that this is the airport of the year every year in a row, but was there someone else selected officially the airport of the year?
There was
So we got a last
Dan,
correct?
I don't know.
It's always TVC.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Dan.
Our intern, two-time intern did get Student of the Year, so proud to report that.
Oh, that's
So,
cool.
Yeah.
So yeah. They're just not what
Okay.
It's on this next year.
This next year.
It's a rebuilding year. Use that term. Rebuilding.
So, also during that time frame, we opened up the economy lot.
Saw cars there today.
Yeah, and we did that as a soft opening. We didn't go public with it. We did it as a soft opening to start as some of the overflow was starting to happen. But we also wanted the economy lot because it's not an overflow lot. I want to make sure, but it's an economy lot. It's a lower cost parking area, shuttle. So what we wanted to make sure, since not all the equipment is in for the automated systems, so we asked our parking vendor to staff it, and then also, of course, staff the shuttles as they had planned. And so we needed to spool it up and test and make sure, credit card processing and everything else worked. And so we've done that for a week. So Mr. O'Brien got the first press release handed to him as he came in today. But the press release will be going out after the meeting and indicating that tomorrow is the official public opening.
How does the shuttle work?
Pardon?
How does the shuttle work?
The
Is
shuttle-
there only one?
Yeah, we only have the need for one at the moment, but if the volume picks up and we need more, we have two options. And so they have drivers that take from the cars, drop off at the curb, and that runs from the first, about 4 a.m. For the first departures, all the way through the last arrival at night. The shuttle
And it just keeps moving,
It
basically?
just keeps moving, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then,
Did your job, Dan.
and then.
Well, it's a little early and a little late. I'm starting to change my tune on that job.
Yeah.
Is there a sidewalk from there?
There's a
Walkway.
there's walkway, yeah, there is walkway there. But, yeah, most are gonna enjoy the ride.
Is there a covered waiting station?
They're being installed as we speak, so the first one was, so that was another reason we were trying to hold off a little bit, because those were a little delayed. Yeah.
What will the approximate savings be in the economy lot?
Well, it's $11.
$7 a day versus 15 in long term.
Okay.
So roughly $4 a day if you're gonna be on an extended trip, which for folks that some plan for that depending on your
Picture
vacation.
that in my head.
$20.
So yeah, so that's happening, we're excited for that, and it has, we've seen a little with, the handful of cars that are over there, that's provided the relief in our short-term and long-term parking, so, but those
Those are more than a 25% savings.
Yep, so those are definitely filling up. So looking at the operations report, we're down a little bit compared to 25 by about 1,500 passengers. Mainly because Fort Lauderdale started February versus January. So if you were to look at those numbers, Fort Lauderdale, based on last numbers, we'd be way up. So, so that's an adjustment just by schedule.
Did we have any other issues here?
We did, it was typical. We had cancellations the first part of January for the winter storms and stuff, so yeah, so that's a pretty solid number there. But what I thought was really the key number of all was the freight. Freight, we have not seen an increase in freight, and that's up 7.6%. That
Why is that?
I don't know 100%, but I have to assume it's because the out Chumps Corner, that facility is finally fully online. So that's gonna be my guess, but.
And how is that freight arriving?
It's arriving it's by UPS and FedEx both, but and mainly I think it's your UPS that continues to grow. They're up 13.7%.
So it's not going through this facility, just over there?
No, it flies in here and then trucked over to the facility.
Oh, really?
We're not using the shuttle bus.
I kind of like that job.
Yeah, those are the airplanes that arrive every morning. So UPS has one that comes from Louisville every morning, and then also Lansing, and then FedEx comes up from Grand Rapids.
Yeah, and one of them actually comes to the terminal.
No, it's all done on the north side. Yeah, that's all done on the north side.
On the north branch?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, just making sure.
Yep. And then, of course, fuel's up, so.
And do the airlines do any air freight ever?
Not a counter-to-counter packages, that are high priority, but, human marine, they do some. With the larger mainline aircraft, they'll do some. I think we had one already this year, but, bikes, things like that, animals, dogs, things like that.
No snacks.
Nothing of value like we saw before 9/11.
Right.
That seems to have all shifted to FedEx.
Anything else on operations report? Any other questions? Accounts receivable, Heather, if everyone received the report?
Yep, so I sent you a note, asked Site, reached out to them, they just did the cracks or something, I'm not quite sure, don't have a story for me, but they promised they would by the end of the week. And then since I sent it out, Summit Companies called and paid over the phone today. And there's a lost check further down, EV Enterprises, their truck was lost in the mail, but all these little amounts here are the increases in January 1. They sent their checks ahead of time, so it's gonna take a month or two for those them to get used to paying the new rates.
Okay. Budget report, Will is not here. Mark, you want to cover the budget report for us,
Sure.
please?
Yeah, usually come out of the gate in January, we typically operate at a deficit, and January's, nothing different for that. With our increase in winter activities, it becomes more expensive to operate the airport with less passengers passing through, so it's just something we budget towards. We did have a couple favorable items. Revenue was down a little bit, but expenses were as well. Those for the most part are probably going to be related. We'll probably anticipate some of those expenses spreading out into later months. But overall, favorable to budget for January, which is always good. Also, just want to make a note, we do have a couple grants that we did receive closeouts on. We actually just received payments on both of those for final reimbursements, which was a little over $300,000 on those two, so we can check the box on those. So we'll be focusing on those next couple grants here in the near term to try to get those closed out with final reimbursements as well.
Thank you. Any questions of Mark on finances or operations, budget summary? General public comment, would anyone in the audience like to address the NRAA this afternoon, please?
Yes, Bruce Moore, I live in East Bay Township. You continue to be the only significant board in the county that does not record and live stream meetings. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else care to address the board this afternoon?
Just like questions or just address?
You could ask a question.
Oh, I was gonna see if I could ask a couple of questions. So Delta, anything on Salt Lake or year-round for Minneapolis?
We had those conversations. Salt Lake, probably, it's not on their radar at the moment. We had extensive discussions to try to put it on their radar, but they didn't seem real interested at all. For Minneapolis, we did talk extending the seasons. They're looking into some of those possibilities. They didn't give us a commitment on that. But I'll say they're at least this time more receptive to it than they have been in the last 5 years past. I don't know.
Yeah, and Salt Lake, they don't want to fly over the hub of Minneapolis, so that's a drawback there. But yeah, they seem more receptive to me, and really building up Detroit as well.
And what's going on in Chicago with, United trying to push American out to the side. And, I see like the marketing here, how the marketing seems like the non-stops. And it seems like, I think this is going to be a great opportunity in the summertime. Unfortunately, I'm an adult guy, so I don't know how much benefit I'm going to get, but there's, United wants, what, 600 to 750 in Chicago, United, and American's going to go up to 500. So it seems like there's, tickets, I'm assuming ticket prices are going to come crashing down or somewhat down, and seat availability is going to go way up, and I don't know anybody around here knows that, hey, this is going to be a great summer for that.
Yeah, we should see schedules for both United and American load here in the next month. And so we should see some of that. The forward-looking information they have provided sounds exactly what you're saying, but we haven't seen those numbers yet. So they typically release those about this time in the month of March. So we're expecting that same result, that there will be some more competition. I think that's very true, and that Chicago will be a hot market for that. We'll see who battles and wins that out. I think you're seeing also a lot of other announcements at Michigan airports that lost service coming out of COVID, like Lansing and Kalamazoo. There's been some additional service restored by United at those locations. And then other locations like in Wisconsin also saw that service restored, like Appleton was another one here today. So I'm expecting that result. Probably in our case, I don't know if we'll see more frequency, but we'll probably see larger aircraft with more seats on board. Same thing with American. We'll see those larger airplanes with more seats on board. So definitely, I think we're going to benefit that. And it should impact fares. When you have more seats in the market, it should impact the fares.
Another question. I was in Grand Rapids last year. I was sort of surprised. They had a really, really nice viewing park. I don't know if you know it, seen it or whatever.
Yep.
Is there any talk with maybe in the city or the county to do a viewing park around here?
Well, we have the observation park off of and it's very...
Like the parking lot over there, you mean?
Yeah, parking lot off of it's normally closed during the winter time, but come summertime, that's open. And we haven't planned to do anything with that yet, as of recently, but that's an item.
The new hotel is going to have a...
Well, yes, and then potentially with per the deck that they've provided us, there's a restaurant lounge on the top of the hotel.
Sir, could you identify yourself and where you're from? Just curious.
Oh, I'm just a regular guy, Chris Ganner, I live in Ellsworth.
Okay.
I mean, I like
Okay.
aviation. I got no business in it or...
No.
Okay, we usually ask some people so we know who's talking to us, so thank you. Any other public comment?
Oh, can I ask one more question? Is LAX still a pipe
Yes, sir.
dream? Anything? You foresee anything on that thing?
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. It's closer to the possibility if some grant dollars flow in the right way, it could be sooner than later.
Really? Does the airline start with a D by any chance?
No.
Oh.
Are you an air service guy too?
No, it's just, you can't use it if it's not built. They lock you in nowadays, you can't, between the credit card, this, that, the other, it's so hard to switch.
Yeah. No, I get it. So.
Is there any other member of the public that would like to address the board this afternoon? Before member comment, I just wanted to remind the board, our board members, particularly maybe some of the newer board members that have not been in this arena of our roles and responsibilities related to public comment during both the public comment and member comment portions of our meeting. And a reminder, public comment is a time for the community to speak and for us as a board to listen. It's not a dialogue, debate, or an opportunity for board members to critique speakers or their viewpoints. Board members should show attentiveness and respect public comment through their posture and demeanor. Board members should refrain from verbal reactions, commentary, or expressions of approval or disapproval with the speaker or their viewpoints. The board's responsibility is to receive input, remain neutral, and allow space for all voices without judgment. This expectation aligns with the NRAA Code of Ethics, which calls on us to encourage free expression of opinion and maintain effective communication with all elements of the community. By adhering to these expectations, we uphold the integrity of the process, protect free speech rights, and create an environment where community members feel safe and respected and are welcome to communicate with the board. So just a reminder on that. I know personally, in previous positions I've had as a county commissioner, that we always encourage and respected members of the public to bring forth their ideas, their thoughts, and their opinions. There's a lot out there, and that's their right. And as chairman, I'm going to make sure to take that responsibility seriously and make sure that anytime someone addresses us, they're heard and they're listened to. And I just ask the same respect for the board. So that's all I have on that. Does any members of our authority have any comments today, Doug?
Yeah, so we have had a number of the public ask us about recording and streaming. I know we have been looking into that. Do we have a timeline on that?
I don't have a timeline on that. We installed this equipment and one of so we have the camera here, and so we need a piece of software to start the recording. But what we've run into and what we found out is the amount of data that it takes to store is a lot, and it's expensive. So we're trying to find alternatives to be able to place it on our website, keep it for a period of time, and store it. So that's what we've been working through at that point.
So a number of our townships do it, so maybe they can point us in one direction.
We've had that conversation with a lot of them, and it's the considerable cost. So we're trying to balance that out, but yeah.
Any other board members? Daryl?
I did have an issue where my wife and I were flying out. There was an equipment issue, which was handled very well by the staff. It was on the plane, off the plane, and had closed the airport and towed the plane back in. But I thought it was noteworthy that there were 4 people on the plane that were worried about their connection to get to Bozeman. And they were on the phone. I was looking around like, is this like, can hear me? But Bozeman was the issue that was being talked about on the plane as they were towing the plane back to the gate. So I just wanted to bring that up. That's kind of an inside joke, but Bozeman keeps coming up as a
I sure does.
location
Right.
more than LAX or anything else.
And the night before last, 10 people from Bozeman made it in on a midnight flight.
The major hub.
Any other
One of these days.
board members?
Just a quick question, Thursday night? the
Oh, yeah.
public,
Yeah.
What?
So that is the joint zoning commission that's meeting, so that is the group that is forming the zoning, the draft zoning ordinance on the airspace overlay that we've been talking about. So we've invited the local planning groups to come and meet. It's also a public meeting, so we're holding over it at NMC at the Tim Nelson Innovation Center at 6:30 p.m. It's not a requirement for the board to attend. That's that focus of that group. And so it's a presentation. It's a presentation you've already seen. And so those will be discussion, but it was an opportunity as these, because who sits on that board is a lot of the local planners that are in each of the various townships. And it was a chance for them to be able to bring their planning boards in to see it, talk about it, to bring up ideas, exchange ideas, to understand it a little bit more, to understand the history of it. So Bob and Carrie will be presenting. There will be State of Michigan personnel there also to answer questions. And so it's an informative session.
I'm planning on attending just to listen and hear any public comments, so I'll be there to cheer you.
Will we ultimately vote on the outcome of their decision?
So what will come from that then is, after that is brought back and refined, then there will be a public hearing process with that group. Once that's done, then they'll finalize the recommendation on that ordinance and send it to the joint zoning board, for which then the joint zoning board will have to take and review, and then also offer a public hearing on top of that. At that time, then, that will be recommended for approval under the joint zoning board.
Yes.
The board is the one that enacts the final ordinance.
Any other board member comments this afternoon?
Still have to be sworn into my position, assuming you do that after the meeting, or we do it.
We can do that.
You do it afterwards.
Okay, if there's no further business to come before the NRAA, except a motion to adjourn. 3:52. So moved. Support? Supported. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries.
Ron, could you give me that?
So I can swear.
Always interesting.
Yeah.
You got time for coffee? Yeah.
You got me.
Yeah, I will see you there.
What's that?
Okay.
Oh.
Stay one.